What's up everybody, welcome back to another video. So now I'm going to be taking you through this lab of SQL injection attack, whereby we are going to be listing our database content in our non-SQL databases. Now my channel has just recently reached to our 2K subscribers. I appreciate everybody that subscribed to my channel, and in case you are not subscribed, please you can feel free to subscribe, and you can also give a thumbs up to this video in case it works for you. So the labs that we are going to be working on are located on our Postgres Academy, and we are working on our SQL injection attack. So this is the lab that we are going to be working on. When you go on and you click to that link, you'll be brought up to a page like this. Don't worry, I'll be leaving the link in the description that will be bringing you to our all labs on Postgres. All you need to do is to create an account with them. So let's go on and read through this lab and see if we can go on and solve it. So they go on and tell us that this lab contains our SQL injection vulnerability in the product category filter. The results from the query are returned in the application's response, so you can use our union attack to retrieve the data from other tables. Now in the previous labs, in case you watched those videos, we were working on our union attack. I'll guess that you already know what to do. So here they go on and tell us that this application has a login function, and the database contains the table that holds the username and passwords. You need to determine the username of the table and the column it contains, then retrieve the contents of that table to obtain the username and password. To solve this lab, we need to log in as an administrator to this application. So all we need to do is to go on and tap on this to access our lab. So I'm going to go on and tap on this. We see another tab has been opened up, but as it is loading, I can come back here to hint and click to also this drop down. We see that we also have a cheat sheet. We can go on and use this too. So I'm going to just go on and right click to this and put it to another tab because we may need it in future when we are trying to solve this lab. So coming back to our application, this is how it looks like, since they told us that we do have a vulnerability in our category filter. So I guess this is the category because when you try to see here, we have our drinks, gifts and others. So when we go on and we tap on these gifts, you see that our gifts has been brought back, but when you try to look at our URL, you see that we have category equals gifts. So in case we want to test and see if this is vulnerable to SQL injection attack, we can go on and we provide a single quote, which is a SQL character. In case this is successful, we shall have an internal server error whereby the application won't be able to execute this perfectly. So if I submit that, you see that we have our internal server error, which means that this lab is vulnerable to our SQL injection. So since we've confirmed that this is vulnerable to SQL injection, this is where we can go on and proceed to working on our lab. So if we come back here, I'm going to go on and remove this because this is just the URL and code, and submit that. We are back to our, it should be gifts, not gifts. Let me add on an S. We are back to our application. So when we try to see here, we have our title, we have our information or our any data about the product. We need to go on and see how many columns that are being called out from our database. So I'm going to go on and set up my Burp Suite. Since Burp Suite takes some minutes to open up on my machine, I already opened that here. So all we need to do is to just go on and turn on our Burp here in Fox Proxy, and it is on. And I'm going to come to my Burp Suite, come here to Proxy. We are going to turn on our intercept. So all we need to do is to go on and submit any value that we want here. So when I go on and tap on that, our Burp Suite is going to intercept that, and we can go on and we use Burp Suite to generate whatever we want. So I'm going to just come here to our history. I don't see the content, or perhaps let me come back here. I'm going to forward this. Let me see if I may get that again. Now since I guess I don't have the CS certificates, but I'm going to just come here to add advanced. and I'm going to tap here to proceed. Now we have captured that link. To be on a safer side, I'm going to just right click to this and I'm going to say add to scope. All I need to do is to come here to proxy settings and I'm going to put a tick here. Only I want to intercept all the sites that are added to the scope. So after selecting these two, I can close this and come back to my interceptor. But before I proceed, I can go on, right click to this and I'm going to send it to my repeater. So if I come to my repeater here, this is where I'll be changing or trying to inject in our application. Once again, if I come here to gifs, I'm going to put a single quote, then I'm going to say send. We shall receive our internal server error. You see that we have our status code of 500, which means that now we can go on and we inject our payloads. So if I come here, I can remove this single quote. So we need to go on and determine the number of columns that are being called by the application. And the easiest way we can do that is to use order by. So I'm going to just go on and put a single quote. Let me just go on and open up my Obsidian so that I'll be typing some commands that you'll be able to see, because since we have some values here, perhaps it may masquerade within the content that we have here. As our Obsidian's opening, I'm going to go on and use a single quote here and we are going to say order by. So quote, and we say order by. Now this is where we can go on and we start typing in our numbers from 1 as we try to see the status of our application. So I'm going to say order by 1 and remember to comment out whatever will come next. So I'm going to go on and highlight this, press our Ctrl U to perform our URL encode, and I'm going to send this. So if we submit that, you see that we have our 200, okay, which means so far this is one column. Now I'm going to come back this side where we have a 1. All I need to do is to change a number within this position. I'm going to turn it to 2 and I'm going to send it that. Again, we have our 200, okay, the status code, which means this is a second column. So I'm going to go on and turn that to a 3. Let's submit that and see what we shall receive. Again, here now we have a internal server error. You saw that when we say order by 1, it was okay, order by 2, it was okay, but when we turn to a 3, this is where we get our internal server error, which means that we do have 2 columns present on our application, or 2 columns that are being called from our database. So after understanding the columns that are being called from our database, we can go on and we try to determine the data types that are being used by these columns. Are they in string types or numeric? But depending to the application that we do have here, our data, it is, or it was in text, because since I intercepted, this is what we do have here, but we saw that it was in text. So we can go on and we try to test whether this one is into strings or numerics, though we already know what the application brings. So to come back this side, if to script that, I'm going to just go down to the bottom. This is where we are going to use our union attack, which is the same scenario that we have been doing in the previous videos, in case if you watched those videos. So all we are going to do here, we are going to just say a quote, we are going to bring in our union, then remember this one moves with a select. So when we say union select, since we have 2 columns, I'm going to go on and add on any number like a. Remember to put a space. Yeah, the space is there. We are going to separate these by a comma and we can add on another a. Since we are at the end, remember we are working with an SQL database, we can even try to put on our comment. Remember to comment out everything. So this is a command that I'm going to go on and inject within my application to test and see whether this is going to be string types, and if they are string types, these A's that we've typed here, they will be brought back within the application. So to copy that, I'm going to come back this side where we have our code highlighted at and paste there our data. Then I'm going to go on and highlight this. Perhaps I can go on and reduce these spaces we have here. Going to go on and highlight this. I'm going to press Ctrl U to perform our URL encode. So to come here, submit our information, we do have our status code of 200. Let's go on and see if our A's have been displayed within the applications. If they are, it means all the columns that are being called from our database, they will be having our strings. So when you try to see, we have our th, that is a table header, and a td, that is a table data. All of these two, our A's have been brought back, which means that all the columns that are being called from our table, they do have string types. Now, after understanding the columns that we have, that there are two, we have our strings. We know the data type that they use strings. So this is where we can go on and we try to see if we can get out the information of the tables, or perhaps we can go on and check the version if you want. So to go on and check our table names, this is where we can go on and we check a sheet since we are using a non-SQL database, or there are many DBMS that one can use, and all we need to do is to check a documentation. So if I come back this side, remember you can get this link of the sheet. If you come here and you press hint, you'll be able to see this link. So to come to our sheet, since we are using a non-SQL database, we are going to come and we try on this. So here we have our Oracle, we have our Microsoft, we have our SQL. We can go on and we test some of these. So we have our Microsoft, perhaps we can try on that, and we also have this. So what we can do is to look at some of these commands here, and we use those and see if we can return back our information from our database. So firstly, I'm going to go on and try on this PostgreSQL, and to use some of these commands, we have our select all from our information schemas dot tables. So I'm going to go on and copy this. This is the command that we shall be using. Let's go on and we use it here. So to paste our information, remember this one should be used with our union attack. All we need to do is to just add on union in front. So with our union select, we need to change this start to the columns that we want to call out from our table. And if I come here, so far we know that we have two tables. So if we have here, let's say table 1, and we are going to get our 2, so it will be something like this, comma, and perhaps the last one we can give it null since we only need 1. So I'm going to go on and change this one to the information in our information schemas, and all we need to do is to perform a little bit of a Google search. I'm going to just go on and copy this. Let's come back here to our browser. I'm going to open up another tab. Let me paste this and let me just say PostgreSQL. Let's see what will be returned back. Again, since this is captured, I'm going to just say advanced, and we have a reload. Though, let me just go on and turn off my pub suite. Again, I'm going to just come back this side and refresh my browser. Now I'm going to just tap on this first link here. It will be better. Now what do we want to call out within our PostgreSQL? So we are looking for the table name. Again, I'm going to come here. We have our columns. We may need the columns because after understanding the tables, we need to know the columns in those tables. So I'm going to just right click to this, send it to another tab as we are looking for the tables. So I'm going to scroll down, come here to our tables, or just tap to the tables, and we see what we made return back. So when you scroll down, you see that here we have table underscore name, and here it will be able to give us all the tables present within our database. So all I'm going to do is to go on and copy this, come back here to my Obsidian, and we are going to change this one to the information that we've copied at the side. So it's going to be union select table underscore name comma null, since we have two columns that we saw earlier from our information schemas dot table. So I'm going to just go on, copy this, come back to my BAP suite, and going to highlight this there, paste my data. Again, I'm going to go on and highlight this content, and we press Ctrl U. So after, I'm going to do send. Let's see what will be returned back. So I see 500. We have a problem somewhere. Where could the problem be? Yeah, I didn't comment out our data. If we come back this side, you see that I didn't comment out this. So I'm going to go on and highlight this information again. Let's come back and we highlight this. Going to paste there my data. Again, I'm going to highlight it and press Ctrl U. Wait, I think I highlighted a couple stuffs. Come back, highlight this again, and press Ctrl U. Let me go on and press send. Now you see here we have our 200 OK status code, which means our injection has worked perfectly. So let's scroll down and see the tables that were returned back. So if we scroll down, we have a couple of table names that were returned back. Do we have, let me just come and search for users. I see 14 matches. Perhaps we can go on and try to check through some of these and see whether we might find anything that will be a bit fancy. So here we have user underscore define types. I'm going to just come here, press next, users. I'm looking for something that might be better. User mapping. See user tables. I see we have this. I can first copy this and save it somewhere. Let's come back and check whether we might see something different. I see PG user. Perhaps I can also go on and copy that and press it here. Let's look for the last one, 14. So we have only copied 2, so we can go on and retest those and see whether we might see the column. So I'm going to come back this side. Now here we are going to go on and change some of these, if these are the correct tables, and see if we might recover back the columns within these tables. And the way we can do that, let's come back here to our cheat sheet, which is this one, and we have select all from our information schema where the table equals this. So when I go on and copy this, since we have chose some of the tables, all we need to do is to see if we can get the columns from these tables. Once again, we should go on and we add on our union, since this is a union based attack. And here, this is where we have to provide the data that we need to get from our schemas. So all I'm going to do is to highlight these columns, copy that, come back here. We are going to do again a Google search. We don't need to even do that. If you remember, I tapped on columns here. So if we come here, all we need to do is to get, we have column name. So I can just copy this, come back here to my Obsidian. We are going to change this star to our column name, comma. Remember there are two columns, and all we need to do is to send now for the second one. Now since we got a table name, all I can do is to remove these words, and we can replace them by this one here. Let's hope it is a correct table, and don't forget to comment out whatever will come before that. So I'm going to copy that, come back to my Burp Suite, highlight my data up to there, and I'm going to paste it. Again, I'm going to highlight that information and press Ctrl U. So I'm going to press on send. Let's see what will be returned. So we have our 200. Okay, so let's see if we have got the column names. So again, we have our toys. Those are the ones that do work within the system. But here we have our password, which is okay. Perhaps I can go on and copy this. Perhaps our password will be within this column. Let me save it here. And I see here for user. Let me just search for that. We see I see users. Again, let's search for the second match. Yeah, this is another one for the username, because we need a username and the password so that we get access to our administrator. Once again, I'm going to just go on and search for the password, though I saw it first, but you never know, there may be something else that we may see. So password, we only have one match. So since we have the columns for our credentials, this is one for the password and we have one for the username. Let's try to see if we shall be able to dump out the information from these columns. So how can we get our information? Again, we are going to be using our union attack. So this is going to be our union select. And what do we need? We are going to get our column for the username. We press it here, comma, column for the password. We also press it here. Remember, you have to provide the from, and we are going to get our table. So let's first come back this side to our sheet, and this is how it will be. Select all from the information schema. So we need to provide the table. We have the table name. I'm going to just come back this side, going to just copy from this and paste it there. So we have two froms here. So we have our select the username and also our password. Then we provide the table. Then all we have to do is to comment out this. Wait. So if this is a table, this is the table name here. We are going to add on a where clause. Select this where the table name equals this. So let me just go on and comment out to this. Let me hope my command is okay. Let's come to our Burp Suite, highlight our content, going to remove that, put a space, and we're going to paste our command. Let's come and highlight this. with our Control U, and we do send. Let's see if we have a internal server error. What did I miss? I'm going to go on and come back this side. Perhaps let me remove this and provide the table name directly, where this is the table name, and I'm going to press it here with our Ctrl V. So if I highlight this again, Ctrl C, let's come back here to our Bob suite, paste it there, highlight it again with our Ctrl U to perform our URL encode. Let's send it that, and we have our 200 status code. So let's go on and see whether we have received our username and also the password. So when we try to see, we have our administrator. I'm going to go on and copy that, because to solve this lab they told us that we need to log in as an administrator, and we also have the password somewhere here. I do expect this is the password. So if I copy that, come back this side and paste this here, I see it is a gibberish of some numbers. I don't know whether it is encoded, but I'm going to try to log into the application just with this. We see whether our lab will be solved. So let's come back here to our browser. I'm going to come back to the application. I'm going to say proceed, since we deactivated our Bob suite, and just come here to my account, and for the username it's going to be our administrator. So just copy that, come back this side, paste it. Let's come back here and copy the password, and we paste it here. So we submit this. Let's see if our lab will be solved, and we have a congratulations, our lab has been solved. Once again, if this has been of a great help to you, you can give a thumbs up to this video, and if you're new to the channel, please you can subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.